So another very good example is, you know, the Jinjunmei. What's it called in English? Golden.
Well, it's often translated as golden eyebrow.
Well, let's talk about the name first. So Jin in Chinese is like golden, right? Junmei. So a lot of people just like translate it directly like golden eyebrow. That's why a lot of like vendor or producer or tea maker, they just like they just add a lot of like golden buds into the tea, and then they just jump up the price, or even like they just sell it at a very cheap price and then saying like this is golden eyebrow like Jinjunmei. But the fact is, Jin, like gold, it's a grading of the tea. So
not necessarily the color.
Not necessarily the color.
Yeah.
So Jin means like the golden grade of this type of tea. So it's a golden grade. So they even have the Jinjunmei, which is a silver Junmei. So that's the second grade. And then they have the Tongjunmei, which is a bronze. So that's another grade. So it's not like golden eyebrow at all. Okay, so when you look at the authentic one, you'd actually
be very surprised, like how grey it
looks like. Maybe so that's like it's kind of very misleading, because like the translation of the name.
Yeah.
So Junmei is actually the first, we would say the inventor's name. So his name is Junde is his name. So because like the shape of the tea leaves like looks like a eyebrow as well. So they add the person's name plus the eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the gold, silver, and bronze, and it's the grading of the tea.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary. It's not the color of the tea leaves at all. So if you guys see like Jinjunmei full of like golden buds, or just the golden buds, then
be wary of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of actual flavor though, it is actually, we did have the chance to try that original one when we had our trip to Tongmu like a few years ago, and it was pretty amazing. Like, but it was a pretty amazing tea, but it is quite light because it is all it's made from buds. It's pretty much all the buds, and you know, like Silver Needle, it's actually quite a light tea. But
refreshing.
It's very refreshing and has a lot of like kind of citrusy. It had a lot of kind of citrusy notes, and it does have it was a pretty lingering aftertaste. So. For me, like a shortcut to tell whether it's great tea or not is that lingering aftertaste. Like, does it linger on my palate, at the back of my throat for a while before it kind of disappears. And I found that seems to be a common trait with like great quality Chinese teas in general. Like, does it have a lingering aftertaste? Like, the whole reason why Jinjunmei came about was because it was actually produced and sort of made to be an expensive black tea. I think the story goes like a few Beijing officials came down to Tongwu village to visit this factory that Liang Junde was working in, and they were telling him that, you know, you've got some really great teas in this region, like your Zhengshan Xiaozhong, like, and all that, like it's really great tea, but you don't have anything that's like expensive or like really like considered
stand out.
Like, yeah, anything that really stands out or super high quality, like you would have like Longjing, like a Dragon Well, or like those other regions have their super expensive teas that we can, you know, give as really expensive gifts.
Yeah, and Fujian, like in that region, they have a very long history of like making black tea. It was like the first black tea was from there.
Yeah.
But then people kind of like during time, sort of like forgetting about the Fujian black tea.
Yeah.
So their suggestion is like, why not bring up
bring up the profile of Fujian black teas, and you know, one way of doing that is to, you know, we challenge you to make like the most expensive, highest quality black tea that you can. So it's like, all right, he takes the challenge, and basically the idea was that he took the best quality buds that he can get, and then producing it in in like the style of a Zhengsang Xiaozhong, and then the result was a Jinjunmei, and
Yeah.
you know,
They change the process a little bit because it's all buds,
Yeah.
so they can't go for exactly what they usually make black tea. So they change a little bit, and then they produce this.
yeah.